Stop to think, really think, if your thoughts have power? I'm not talking. All right, let's jump right in. Have you ever stopped to think, really think, if your thoughts have power? I'm not talking about just ideas, but real, tangible power. Well, today we're diving deep into a concept that says they absolutely do. We're talking about the law of attraction. So let's start with this kind of a wild idea. What if every single thought you have, the good ones, the bad ones, even the boring ones about what to have for lunch, what if they aren't just happening inside your head? What if they're actually literally shaping the world around you? And look, this isn't some new age fad that just popped up. Nope, for centuries, some of the greatest thinkers and leaders have called this the great secret. And the claim they're making? It's pretty bold. They're saying this isn't just wishful thinking. It's a fundamental law of the universe, just as real, just as reliable as something like gravity. Author Mike Dooley really boils it down to just 3 incredibly powerful words. Thoughts become things. Just let that sink in. The idea here is that every single thing in your life, your relationships, your job, even what's in your bank account, it all started out as just a simple thought. Bob Proctor put it perfectly. He said, if you see it in your mind, you're going to hold it in your hand. So think about that. The images you keep playing over and over in your mind, they're basically blueprints for the life you're building. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how on earth does a thought, something I can't even touch, become a real physical thing? Well, the core idea behind it is actually surprisingly simple. It all comes down to this: like attracts like. So what we're really talking about here is energy. See, the law of attraction says that every single thought you have is vibrating at a certain frequency. And when you send that frequency out into the world, you basically become a magnet, pulling in people, situations, and even things that are vibrating on that exact same level. Think about it for a second. Have you ever had one of those days, a bad day, where one negative thought just seems to spiral into a dozen more? Oh, I spilled my coffee, now I'm going to be late, my boss is going to be mad. That right there, that's a perfect example of this in action. You're putting out that negative energy, and you're just attracting more of it right back to you. John Assaraf has this amazing analogy for it. He says to think of yourself as a human magnet. It's that simple. And your thoughts? Well, they're the magnetic force, constantly pulling your reality, everything around you right towards you. But how does this whole magnetic power thing actually work? The key, the real secret ingredient here, is frequency. Every single thought has its own specific energetic frequency. Okay, here's a great way to think about it. Picture a giant TV tower, right? It's broadcasting a frequency to create pictures on your screen. Your mind is basically that tower. The thoughts you're constantly thinking are broadcasting a frequency, and that frequency is creating the pictures of your life. And hey, if you don't like the show that's playing, well, you've got to be the one to change the channel. And don't think for a second that this is some weak signal we're talking about. No way. You are literally the most powerful transmission tower in the entire universe. The frequency of your thoughts, it's broadcasting 24/7, shaping your reality in every single moment. Now, this is an incredibly empowering idea, right? But it brings up a huge question, probably the one you're already thinking. If we're all this powerful, why isn't everyone living their absolute dream life? Why is there still so much struggle and unhappiness out there? Well, the answer lies in this really common, really sneaky trap that almost all of us fall into. It's what we could call the don't want epidemic. See, here's the catch. The law of attraction is absolute. It doesn't process negatives. It doesn't hear words like don't, not, or no. It only, and I mean only, picks up on the subject of your focus. So let's look at some examples. When you're stressing and thinking, I don't want to be late, what do you think the universe hears? It hears late. So what do you get? Delays. Or I don't want a bad haircut. The universe just hears bad haircut. Or how about I can't handle all this work? Guess what you're asking for? More work than I can handle. The universe is like a giant copy machine for your focus. It gives you what you're focused on, period, whether you want it or not. So the big question is, how do we get out of this trap? How do we start consciously, intentionally, creating the life we actually want? Well, it all comes down to one thing: shifting your focus. Let's take a look at the story of a guy named Robert. His life was just a constant stream of negativity. Co-workers were harassing him. People would bother him on the street. He'd even get heckled during his comedy routines. His mind was just stuck, completely fixated on everything he didn't want. But then, he decided to make a change, a conscious shift. He stopped thinking about the harassment, the hecklers, all of it, and instead, he started focusing only on what he did want. Supportive audiences, successful shows, peaceful interactions. And get this, in just a few weeks, his entire reality transformed. The hecklers, gone, replaced by standing ovations. I love how Dr. Joe Vitale puts it. He says you are the Michelangelo of your own life. The David you are sculpting is you. Just think about that. Every single thought is like a strike of the chisel, sculpting who you are and what your life becomes. You are the artist, and you are the masterpiece. So here's the takeaway. Your past, it doesn't define your future, not at all. Your real power is right here, in this very moment, in the thoughts you choose to think from now on. So the question really isn't if you have this power, you do. The real question is,